Hello, everyone. I'm Joe Plunzler, a Marine Corps veteran and entrepreneur. Together with my partner, Kate Germano, we run our own leadership development and executive coaching firm. We're here today to talk with the CEO and president of Veteran Business Project, a nonprofit veteran-serving organization that helps vets just like you launch their own businesses. We're going to talk about what Veteran Business Project can do for you and the resources they can hook you up with to accelerate your journey to ownership. Doing something new can be a bit nerve-wracking, especially when your livelihood and your family's livelihood rides on its success. So from time to time, I think we all need someone to come alongside us, hold up a lamp, and walk with us through the uncertain future. These two gentlemen that you see on the screen here today have been my mentors and have helped me tremendously over the last few years to gain the courage to quit my job and set out on my own. And both are 100% committed to your success. Gentlemen, welcome.
Hello,
Thanks,
Joe. Good to be here.
Awesome. Hey, could you just take a moment and please let the audience know who you are?
Sure, absolutely. Let me just lead off. I'm Lynn Louder, CEO and co-founder of Veteran Business Project. I'm a Marine and an entrepreneur as well.
Dale?
Oh, yeah, Dale Eisenberg. I'm one of the co-founders. Lynn and I co-founded Veteran Business Project about 11 years ago. I've been in the restaurant business for 47 years in Ohio and Illinois. So my background runs pretty deep in the food industry.
Awesome. And son of a World War II Army pilot.
My father was a World War II Army Air Corps pilot.
Awesome. Could one of you tell us what the mission of Veteran Business Project is?
Very simply, Joe, we exist to get veterans and military spouses into business for themselves so they can own their own business. We distinguish what we do. We're not talking startups. We're talking about existing viable businesses in this country, of which there are literally thousands that are on the market.
Wow. So, and when we think about, so thousands of businesses out there right now waiting to be purchased.
Exactly right.
Awesome. Okay. Yeah. Because when we think about entrepreneurship, most people think about the startup, coming up with an idea, starting to do the grind. But you're telling me that there's people out there and brokers out there, people who want to sell their businesses and brokers out there who are helping connect potential entrepreneurs with buying a already profitable business.
Exactly, Joe. It's called the silver tsunami. It has been for a while. We have thousands of baby boomers that started their businesses. Many of them, frankly, World War II folks were successful. And now they're looking for a buyer so they could retire and go on with the rest of their life. Very typically, their kids are not necessarily the ones that want to take over mom and dad's business. So they come on our door and they're looking for a veteran or a military spouse to be a buyer.
Awesome. Awesome. So can we talk about the origin of Veteran Business Project? So when you both founded it, what were you trying to solve for?
Well, originally, when Lynn and I met 11 years ago, he just finished standing up a veterans program in Missouri. And I was looking to do something to help veterans get into business. It came from me when I was flying one day and I saw an active military Army, and in his backpack, it had Business for Dummies. And I thought, boy, I'd like to do something, but I don't know what to say to him. I don't know how to approach him.
Yeah.
Those days are long past. Since we've been working together, I'd have no problem walking up to anyone active or a veteran for that matter and seeing how they are and what we can do to help them.
Yeah. Awesome. And Lynn, you had some stats about like how many veterans during World War II wanted to start a business and then how many today. Could you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. Let me just back up a second. So okay. I just want to add one point. I stood up a veterans program at the University of Missouri, as Dale was saying, some time ago, and was not prepared for the interest in being in business for yourselves.
Yeah.
Didn't make any difference, Joe. Age, gender, race, branch of service, MOS, none of that. So many people had an interest in that. So I dived into the history of military veterans in business. Come to find out that in the 9 years following World War II, 49.7% of our veterans ended up being small business owner operators. Now, contrast that against what's happened since 9/11. Less than 5% are doing that. there's a broad range here of opportunities, and we need to change that. But
Is that because the propensity for going into business for themselves is down, or are vets that today just not interested?
the primary reason why, Joe, that difference is there is lack of access to capital. Dale and I have been working on that. I should give a credit to you too. You arranged to have meetings for us on Capitol Hill. We've been approaching that challenge both nationally and at the state level.
Yeah. And what Lynn's referring to is an effort that we started around 2014 or 2015 to allow veterans who didn't want to go to college to use some of that GI Bill money to capitalize a small business. And we were unsuccessful in getting it out of the Senate, but we did get out of the committee. And I think there's another effort coming around to reignite that effort, right? But yeah, so it's underway now, I believe. But that's remarkable. I think when, you tell me if half of the World War II veterans started their own business, and we all know that the GI Bill and the post World War II Eisenhower boom was the backbone of that economy was vets going to college and vets starting businesses. But today, when the propensity, the interest is there, but the participation rate's low, access to capital being the number one barrier to entry, and that makes sense because a lot of the community banks have dried up, so there's not as much available lending capital. What else might stand in the way of veterans who are interested in starting businesses?
Well, I would say when you talk about access to capital, it's always easier, in my experience over the years, to purchase an ongoing business. It has a bank records. It can show if it's profitable, decent P&L statements. So a lot of the hard stuff's out of the way and a lot of the arguments that bankers will have. So yes, it's great for the excitement of starting something brand new. And it's not that we can't necessarily help them, but we would always advocate looking for somebody else's business to purchase. And just because business isn't on the market doesn't mean it won't be available for sale. Those are some of the tips we teach.
Yeah. Tell me more about that.
Well, I got two of my Pancake House locations by walking in and asking the owner if he wanted to get out of business.
No kidding.
I didn't say it exactly like that. I asked them if they'd like to have somebody assume their lease.
Yeah.
And once they get over the fact that who's this kid asking me if I want to go out of business, they start to listen to you and they find out that you're serious.
Yeah.
I always try and explain to the veterans, when you get in there and do something similar to that approach, within the first couple sentences, bring out that you're a veteran. And we give them ways to bring that into the conversation.
Nice.
The advantage of that is the majority of people, as we all know, have not served. And it's such a small percentage. So the odds of knowing a veteran is very slim. But people in the civilian world want to do something nice for them. They find out as their potential seller that they could help a veteran, they're going to be all over it.
Yeah, no, and even just the fact of you two coming together, one veteran, one civilian business entrepreneur. I mean, that's kind of like the match made in heaven for helping launch these businesses. And I think the other thing too that you brought up that's really interesting is the way that the bankers look at veteran or businesses in general when they're looking to fund startup capital. And what I hear you saying is that they're taking a risk first approach, saying, what's the safer bet? And is it a startup that could be really risky, or is it an existing business that has a profitable track record that just needs a transition to ownership and maybe some mentorship to go along with the new owner?
A good summary, Joe.
Okay.
We believe, now we've been in this over 11 years, Bill and I think that we are the only organization in the country doing what we're doing. This business model we've termed V-Harmony. There's eHarmony to get a date, you get matched up. Ours is V-Harmony, where we match a veteran or military spouse with an existing business looking to sell. There's more to say on that with respect to the business mentors that we have, but it's a very personal situation and model that is really tailored on people who have done it for real.
So, Lynn and Dale, like, what size businesses are you helping vets buy?
I'd say mid-sized businesses, anywhere up to 250, 300,000 has been pretty much what we've done up to now.
Could you give a couple examples of some of the successful launches?
Yeah, one was that we recently finished was a Marine that contacted me from Australia in the middle of the night.
Wow.
I think I told you, I saw that phone number and I said, geez, who in the heck's calling me from Australia? So once I determined after I said hello, we
Yeah.
talked. He then registered with us online, Veteran Business Project. He was looking to come back to the States and had a business in mind. And he was struggling to find a way to finance it. It was a great business. I saw the financials. They kept great books. We struggled with banks, even that I knew in Ohio. And finally, we worked with a fellow we know that is very big in the CDFI programs
Yeah.
in the country.
Can you say what a CDFI is?
Yeah,
That one is
Finish
the Community Development Financial Institutions Fund,
Okay.
Joe, that comes out of the Department of Treasury. It's been around about 25 years. Max loan of 250,000, no FICO score and minimal collateral. It's achievable for a lot of veterans. That's access to readily achievable capital.
Wow. So didn't even know about that till
nor did he.
Right.
He was just about ready to give up and
Wow.
say, the heck with it, I'll just stay in Australia with his wife, and that was going to be it. But now he's operating in a town of about 2,300, which
Yeah.
we believe is where a lot of veterans want to go back to, a small town America. And so he's doing well.
Awesome. No, that's a great story. And then you did a Chicago fireboat, helped two vets buy an old fireboat to do Chicago river tours.
Very similar project. They found us on the internet. They heard about what we're doing, and they needed 250,000 like yesterday. The boat was going to be sold out from under them, but the people, because they were veterans, they wanted to hold on to it as long as possible, allow them to get the deal done.
Wow.
We went to a few banks, still wound up. We found a bank, and we helped with the structure of the deal. They were able to come up with a little money down, but because we have a relationship with this banker, they sort of took a little chance, and it was an SBA loan as well.
Yeah. And a small business administration loan, right?
Right.
Back. Okay.
So they're operating now, and in fact, they bought a second boat.
Mhm.
I don't know if I can never remember the name of it, what it does.
It's like
It's a
a-
training boat.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a little small destroyer, Joe. It's a Navy training vehicle.
Okay.
So it's really cool.
Yeah, I think they have those up in Annapolis at the Naval Academy.
That's exactly where it
Yeah.
came from.
Those
Yeah.
YPs. Yeah.
They're
Um,
YP, yeah.
That's cool. And then I recall like a bakery. Did you help some vets? It was like a corner bakery or something like that.
Oh.
Corner Beehive.
Corner Beehive.
What is that?
Corner Beehive is started out to be a coffee shop and grew into a restaurant in a small town called Villa Grove, Illinois, near where
Nice.
I grew up. Dale was talking to these two CV Reserve veterans, two ladies, and they were bemoaning the fact that there was nowhere in this little town of Villa Grove you could get a decent cup of coffee. You had to
Yeah.
drive all the way to Champaign, Illinois. It's about 25 miles away. So at any rate, they heard about us through a veteran roaster coffee manufacturer. This is where the networking comes in, Joe.
Yeah.
It's really important. We get word and opportunities from all over the place. But anyway, I want Dale to pick it up here because it was really interesting how this came about. I want to get on this a little bit because we are very much one-on-one with these people. So go ahead.
Yeah, so these two women, what they did was they contacted the roasting company, the coffee company, because they went online and they wanted to find a veteran-owned business to do business with. So they spoke to the owner at the time, and I knew him, and he contacted me, said, can you give these ladies a call? I called them up right away and asked where they were, and they explained to me near Champaign. Lynn happened to be down in Sullivan, Illinois, meeting with the mayor there. I said, is there any way, do you know where this is? Can you stop by and see him? He drove on his way back to Chicago that day, and we were off and running. Now, we
Wow.
did spend a lot of time with them. Again, the financing was an issue. And now that they're doing well, and they did manage to find an alternate source along with help from the seller to purchase the property. They have people coming from miles to come see
bet.
them because they know it's veteran owned.
Yeah.
and they're doing just great.
Yeah. Every small town needs a coffee house. I mean, for
Amen.
sure.
Absolutely.
They
That's
need
right.
a small breakfast.
I think
place.
that's a human right at this point, right?
Yes.
To be caffeinated in the morning. So that's a good segue. So what is it about veterans and their military experiences that gives them an advantage when running their own business?
They have a massive advantage, Joe, in several areas. Number one, we could go right through the list. They're disciplined, they're resilient, they are smart, they listen well, they execute. They look at things with a really informed mindset, and they want to be taught the right way. And this is where I'm proud of my buddy here. He's being modest. That boat deal you talked about, as well as that Corner Beehive restaurant in Villa Grove, Dale was with them step for step for step. Without him,
Yeah.
those deals wouldn't have happened. He's a classic example of our business coaches who have done things for real, and we execute along those lines. Very relationship oriented, very trust oriented.
Yeah, no, that's and I think Dale's being humble, but he is kind of the bank loan officer whisperer in many ways.
Yes, he is.
Master of running serially undercapitalized businesses. So
And let me tell you, I'd rather not be that way, but at least if I'm there, I can explain to people what's happening to them and that you can dig your
sure.
way out.
yeah,
You know, I kind of left one thing there I wanted to say to you in terms of why are veterans successful? For all the reasons that we know that the World War II people were, and they were a rousing success. And thinking about it, almost half of them coming out, there were no boots to business programs, things that exist for our veterans now, which make it even better for our veterans to know the pragmatics of business, to understand what the mechanics really are. So we've never seen it better. I think it's better now than World War II because of all the existing businesses looking to sell, frankly.
yeah. I know. And I'm seeing some World War II-ish iconography in your background. Where are you right now? And what's it looks like Norman Rockwell paintings in the back, or talk to me about where you are and what's on the wall behind you.
You're sitting in Rosie's Home Cooking in Naperville, Illinois. This is a restaurant that we have opened up about 9 months ago. Great food and service. Behind me are these Norman Rockwell paintings, lifting up people that have done good things in our country. They're all over here. We got Rosie the Riveter down in the corner. We've got first responders at the missing man table over in the other corner. We've got the flag over here. We've got patriotism, freedom of choice, and so forth. People come here. We have a solid business, and we've been around 9 months. We get a lot of people coming in here, veterans and non-veterans alike. The food is off. I have to tell you, everybody thinks our food is great, Joe. Our food is off the top. I mean, it is really great. Again,
and
this guy right here.
yeah, Dale's fed me before, so I can personally vouch for his mastery, especially with what was it, Sherpa coffee and then a German pancake. So
Well, one thing that Lynn didn't mention is that the veterans are very relational, as you know. And
Mhm.
for all the time he spent advocating for veterans to be in business for themselves, that's where you could take over now.
You know what?
You left that out.
That's a good point.
That's a good segue, because my next question was, many vets don't even consider entrepreneurship as an option, right? You know, they think I can, get out of the military and use my GI Bill and go to college. If I don't want to do that, I'm just going to go out and find a job somewhere. Why should they take a look at entrepreneurship as a career opportunity? It seems kind of risky, kind of scary.
Joe, I come from the Vietnam background. When we came out back from Vietnam, there was nobody talking really anything. We're just kind of flailing around out there trying to fit in. The difference here now, we know what veterans can do for all the reasons we were talking about. Their discipline, their grit, their team play. They listen up, they execute the plan, all those things. But Dale was hitting on something there very significantly. I came out of the Marine Corps in '83 in Naperville, Illinois, and this restaurant just opened it up about 9 months ago, and about twice the age I was when I left the Marine Corps. I even tell, if anybody here listening is an older veteran, I'm almost 77. I want to say it's never too late, never too late to basically have your dream, have your business. Dale and I have talked about this, Joe, hours and hours. We firmly believe that many of our veterans are far better off being the captain of their own ship, their own rowboat, if you will, as opposed to trying to fit into a large corporation.
Yeah.
Most of our, if you look back at our veterans since 9/11, Joe, those that go for a job, 85% do not make their first employment anniversary. Second year, 65%. Why? Because they're scanning, looking, trying to fit in to a culture, if you will, that kind of thing. You can create your own business. You can build it for yourself. You're going to work for somebody? Why not work for yourself? It's very doable, Joe.
Yeah, it's tough because like you're not just transitioning a job. You know, you're not going from like one job to another job in the same sector. You hit on the right word, and that was culture, right? Leaving the military is very much a cultural transition, and so many veterans struggle with finding that the same things that they love about the military in that civilian space, which can seem really transactional at a lot of companies. There are some out there. I have a few clients who are very values forward, have global missions with real world impact. Where I think they're really good fits for veterans in the corporate space. But I think by and large, those are the exceptions. And certainly me just getting the courage to take the jump and start off into business on my own. My happiness level went exponential. Work a lot more, but wouldn't trade that autonomy for anything in the world. So, well, hey, I think this is probably a good time to wrap a little bit here. This is the first of a video series that we're going to start producing for a Veteran Business Project. The next one we're going to do is all about getting very clear about what your personal values are. So if you're going to start a business, if you're going to buy a business, making money is a great reason to do it. It helps if that there's something larger that you want to put and manifest into the world when you make that decision. And typically veterans, we all kind of speak that same language. We joined the military because we wanted to be part of something larger than ourselves. To find that in the civilian space, one of the most helpful things that you can do is get really clear on what your top 3 values are, and then take a look at what your top 3 superpowers are, and where those things combine is a really good place to start looking for your next career. So we'll do a deep dive into that with our next episode. And I think after that, we're going to start ticking through videos on the steps that you need to take to start a business. Is that correct?
That's exactly right, Joe.
Awesome.
The basic steps in our V-Harmony model we coach and mentor people through, from business selection, due diligence, all the way through to the buy-sell.
Absolutely. So, well, that's it for today, folks. We really appreciate you joining us here. So Lynn, Dale, live to you from, where are you again?
Rosie's Home Cooking.
And where can they find you?
Naperville, Illinois.
Okay. And so if you're in the Chicagoland area, go check them out, say hi. And with that, we'll sign off. Wish you all a great week, and we'll talk to you next time.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Joe.